You smiling. Why are you smiling?
Football's fun.
You think football is fun?
Yes, no.
No?
Certain, well, it was fun.
Not anymore, though, is it? Is it?
No, not by now.
No, it's not fun anymore, not even a little bit.
Zero fun, sir.
All right, listen up. I'm Coach Boone. I'm gonna tell you all about how much fun you're gonna have this season.
Marker?
There's something nice about the fact that this is based on a true story about a bunch of kids playing football in a more innocent time for the sport.
You will be perfect in every aspect of the game. Get up, boy, get up, get up.
They helped this town, the city of Alexandria, to come together.
Walt Disney Pictures and producer Jerry Bruckheimer present Denzel Washington and Will Patton in this special behind-the-scenes look at a film from director Boaz Yakin.
Everything's not always about winning and losing.
I'm going to win. Show me, man!
Football's at the core of it, but it's about people.
Lose the game, they'll fire you.
Remember the Titans.
Well, this is familiar territory to me and a countless number of men. I know firsthand that hard-fought battles were won and lost on football fields all across this country. Whether it was high school, college, or pros, young men gutted out pain, foul weather, losing records, all for love of the game or the glory of victory. I'm Lynn Swan. In 1971, on this very battlefield here in Alexandria, Virginia, a high school football team did more than just play the win. During the course of what became a legendary football season, the Titans of T.C. Williams High discovered more about themselves as young men, not just as athletes. And as it turns out, they did more to transform the hearts and minds of an entire city than anyone could have ever imagined. Remember the Titans is based on the true story of that amazing football team and the two courageous men who, as their coaches, led them on an extraordinary and inspirational journey.
'Cause baby, there ain't no mountain high enough, ain't no valley low enough.
Blue, shut up. I don't want to see your smiling and shuffling, hear all your minstrel show singing on this bus.
You too. Got that right. A lot of people were bent out of shape. They had to take these 3 different high schools that were predominantly segregated high schools and combine them into one school.
Who are you?
I'm Herman Boone. I'm the new assistant coach.
Coach Boone's school board made the decision to put you on my staff. I did not hire you.
I didn't ask to be assigned to your staff, so I guess we're both in a situation we don't want to be in. The fact of the matter is, you know, Boone was capable. Oh, I won a couple of titles down in North Carolina.
That's AA ball. Here's Virginia. We play AAA. Coach Yost here has been nominated to the Virginia High School Hall of Fame. 15 winning seasons.
Well, what an opportunity for me then to learn from the best.
In 1971, Alexandria, Virginia was torn by political unrest.
The climate was tense. The black people lived down in the Berg, and the white people lived up on Seminary Ridge.
When screenwriter Gregory Allen Howard heard that the Titans football team of '71 helped bring the entire city together, he knew he'd found something special.
Greg's script came into the office. I read it and said, this is a terrific story, and here we are today actually filming it.
Stand by, set, roll, sound. Sounds big.
The story unfolds as Coach Yost is hit with some disturbing news about his new assistant coach.
The school board has decided that Herman Boone is going to be the head coach at TC.
It's not fair. My daddy's head coach.
He's got a job that he considers the best job in the world, and suddenly it all falls apart.
Every head coach in the system is white. We had to give him something.
To be passing over a great coach, a coach who'd won the city championship, added to the strife in the community.
I say boycott TC Williams.
Coach, he stole your job. I'm not playing for him.
Don't do this. Don't make this any harder for me than it already is.
Coach, if you go, I go.
When his players threaten to sit out the season, Coach Yost decides to stay on as Boone's defensive coordinator.
Something needs to happen at this point in this town. And oddly enough, this football becomes a metaphor for it happening.
Hey, yo, P-Day, how many yards you figure you gonna get this season, bruh?
You know, I ain't want to brag, Big Blue, but I figure on at least 1,000. But I ain't want to brag.
him calling the shots, ain't none of us gonna see nothing but the bench this year.
Almost every actor will tell you that playing a real person can be a daunting challenge. Academy Award winner Denzel Washington and veteran actor Will Patton lead a young ensemble cast through what was sometimes grueling physical and emotional terrain.
Listen, Coach, with the schools integrating and all, some of the guys are worried about losing their starting positions.
Yeah, but you don't...
He's a leader in a lot of ways. People kind of just look to him and he takes on this responsibility.
I'm Julius Campbell, and Julius Campbell is a counterpart to Panettiere. They just didn't like each other. So whether or not they respected each other's talent or not would go unseen.
Kip Pardue plays Ronnie Sunshine Bass.
Hey, fellas! Look at that fruitcake!
I know that I'm a good football player, so I'm kind of being shopped around, being recruited to play on the best team.
Also featured among the Titan players are Donald Faison and Ethan Suplee.
I want you to tell me something about one of your black teammates.
Sir, I eat lunch with Rev.
So what kind of music does the Rev like?
Oh, me and Rev both dig on the Temptations.
Oh, yeah?
I know you want to leave me, but I refuse to let you go. Ain't you proud to beg?
Okay, all right. Stop begging. Anybody else? Campbell? Panettiere?
It was definitely a feat on Herman Boone's part to get them to feel like they were part of the same team.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, coaches. How are you?
Initially, there was total mistrust as players wondered who would get starting positions following Coach Boone's demanding football camp held in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania.
How can I help you boys?
I'm Gary Panettiere, the only All-American you got on this team.
At that point in the early 70s, he arguably was the greatest player in the history of Virginia high school football.
You want any of us to play for you, you reserve half the open positions for Hammond players. Half the offense, half the special teams. We don't need any of your people on defense. We're already set.
What you say name was Jerry?
Gary.
No, you must have said Jerry, like Lewis, which would make you Dean Martin, right?
Coach Boone came into this very volatile situation like a bull in a china shop.
Listen up, I don't care if you're black, green, blue, white, or orange. I want all of my defensive players on this side, all of my offensive players on this side. Move, right now. You and you, offensive bus, sit together. You and you, defensive bus, sit together. Get comfortable, too. Because the person that I have you sitting next to is the same one that you'll be rooming with for the duration of this camp. Wake up, gentlemen. It's late. It's 3 a.m. in the morning. We're going to take a little run through the woods. Many questions?
Coach, it's a high school football team. We're not the Marines here.
Let's go.
I think when you take a group and you separate them and give them a purpose and understand it's about winning, I think that they will respond, especially young people.
Anybody know what this place is? This is where they fought the Battle of Gettysburg. 50,000 men died right here on this field, fighting the same fight that we're still fighting amongst ourselves.
That was a key moment for Yost to suddenly be there amongst those graves at Gettysburg. And I think he begins to realize Boone's behaving with an honor and a dignity that's kind of surprising, and he's getting something done.
What was that, Ray? Whatever it is, it ain't blocking.
Give me a break.
You want a break? I'll give you a break. Me and Julius...
Wait a minute, just let them in.
Get to Rev once, just one time. I swear to God, I'm gonna hit you so hard by the time you come to, ooh, boy, you're gonna need a new haircut. You understand me? Let's play, fellas.
There's the ball. Let's run it again.
For most athletes, participating in sports at an early age is the starting point of a lifelong passion for competition. During these early years of physical challenge, they learn some of life's most valuable lessons, and it is often the guidance from their coaches and teammates that prepares them for a world beyond sports.
Coaches from high school all the way through the pros inspired and motivated me to do my best. Without them, I may not have had the confidence to succeed, much like the real Titans did.
Get up. Get out of here. Go run. Go. Jump on that ball carrier like a starving man on a Christmas hen.
Coach Boone and Coach Yost were fiercely competitive and shared a genuine concern for the team.
That's Panettiere.
Right.
That's PD.
Until I came out of service, I wanted to be a minister. And I got looking around, I thought, gee, you know, if I'm in church, if I'm a preacher, I can only reach the kids that come to me at church. And I knew how much I looked up to my coaches. And I thought, well, maybe I can do that. So I wanted to be a coach because I'd get a chance to work with kids like that.
This kid here is a poor ghetto project kid.
Right.
Brilliant.
Right.
Well, but we can't use him, Coach. We can't have it.
Right.
So they came, you remember? They came back and said, come on, man. I said, no, you cannot have Earl unless you take this boy here.
Right.
I don't care what kind of money you give him, what kind of scholarship you give him, you are going to take this kid here. You know who this kid is today? He's almost director of Pfizer Pharmaceutical Company.
No kidding.
Steve Giles went to Princeton. Let's see, the center ended up going to Michigan, and he was a concert-level cellist. Dan Carl and Jerry Buck went to the Naval Academy, and then I went to West Point.
All of these kids are highly professional. They're just super.
The filmmakers of Remember the Titans were inspired not only by this unique story, but also by the extraordinary men who lived it. How Coach Boone and Coach Yost managed to pull such a disparate group of teenagers together is incredible, especially considering the fact that these men had completely different approaches to the game.
Coach Boone is about you do it till you get it right.
There's a fine line between tough and crazy, and you're flirting with it.
Yost is a little more laid back.
That's good, Gary. I can see you've been working.
Thanks a lot, Coach.
He and Coach Yost, I think, fundamentally are teachers, but their style was a bit different.
Petey, get over here. What are you doing, son? You missed the block by a mile. You didn't even have the football to fumble this time. There's no excuse. No excuse. Boy, get over there on the bench.
Coach Boone was more of a hard-nosed, hands-on type guy. He wanted everything to perfection.
Herb, take over for me.
Coach Yost, on the other hand, was willing to sit down and talk with the guys, try to really explain to them how to bring the best out in them.
You come play linebacker for me.
I think many of those kids were better off because of our two philosophies.
I had the honor of sitting down with the real Coach Boone and Coach Yost to ask them about that unique period in their lives on which the film is based.
You're funny, you know that.
And Bill, I want to ask you directly. When in 1971, you found out you were going to be replaced as a head coach, did you see this coming, or was it a total surprise to you?
It was a total surprise in the end. First I was hurt, disappointed and hurt. Then I got angry, but I didn't know who to get angry with, you know.
So Herman, when you came in, did you realize how much of a shock this change was for Bill?
No, because I had no idea what was going on.
Did you feel like under those circumstances maybe you wouldn't take the job, but once they offered you the head coaching job, you decided, okay, let's go?
No, I first turned it down because here I was accepting a job based on the color of my skin when I was just refused one based on the color of my skin, and I'm just not that type of person. And of course, a lot of my good friends now in the community came to my home and convinced me to carry the banner. I finally agreed to carry the banner, and so look at old Duke now.
Has there been a better example in all the years you've been involved in coaching of sports being the great common denominator?
I don't think so. I mean, it was happening and we weren't even aware of it. The students didn't want to mix. Most of the teachers were against it. I think even the administrators were against it. I think they threw it on us and said, make it work.
Who are the players that emerged as the early leaders that helped bring this team together?
I think it was Julius Campbell and Gary Bertier, and that's brought out in the movie. And when they got to where they could crack on each other, that's when I'd sit back and smile and say, hey, they're getting there.
Little elastic, man, what happened to you?
Man, I just gave your mama a piggyback ride, and she weighs twice as much as I.
When you're on this football field and you stand in certain places, do you remember moments? Do you remember experiences?
Our goal line scrimmages.
These are practices. We're not talking about games.
They were tough.
Right here.
Our goal line scrimmages right here were tough. I mean, we had the #1 defensive team in the area, the #1 offensive team in the area. That's one of the few times I would see him upset when a touchdown was run on the defense. And of course, I would get tremendously upset if one were not.
Well, I mean, it's a movie.
It's a movie, so don't get excited.
Because his first snap,
They don't want no time and build. They want it 3/4 speed.
I know, but...
We really had some of the biggest fights right here on this field.
Wait a minute, Herman. Did you ever score on that?
Yeah, we scored on you. What do you mean, did I ever score on you? What are you talking about? It's the only time I've ever seen you angry, you know?
Yeah, but
You're not supposed...
That's when you tell us, now, you don't move, you stay right here.
No.
Herman, it's a shame that there's no competition between the two of you. You clearly enjoyed this experience as you look back at what you accomplished. Is there a great sense of pride that what you did as coaches had such a positive impact on this city?
I'd like to think so. At the time, we didn't realize it, but looking back, yeah, I would like to think that we made a difference.
I like to think that we played a role in calming the situation down to the extent that people, instead of fighting each other, began talking to each other. And for that particular reason, I feel that I played a role in that.
I think we planted the seed. We didn't know it at the time, but I think we planted the seed, and then it took a lot of work after that by a lot of different people, not just Herman and I, to follow up, but we sort of started it, and that makes you feel good. We were first.
For one special night, the filmmakers brought together the real Titans of TC to meet their on-screen counterparts. It was the first time some players had seen each other in nearly 30 years.
I remember a bunch of young men with different backgrounds coming together and working very hard to achieve a goal, winning the state championship.
It's the actual guy, man. It's odd how we look alike, isn't it?
That was a great night for them. I mean, about 50 or 40 of the guys came down, and there was still as much love here 30 years later, you know, between them and for their coaches.
Oh, boy, this is better than the movie. Let's go. Listen up. Greek mythology, the Titans were greater even than the gods. They ruled their universe with absolute power. Well, that football field out there tonight, that's our universe. Let's rule it like Titans.
The movie is about the kids. We move with them and root for them because of the journey they take.
We are the Tigers, we are the Tigers,
At heart, it's a sports film about the ability of sports to make a difference in people's lives.
Lovely children.
Hopefully there's something in it that can make us think about right now.
Let me tell you something, you don't let nothing come between us.
The film shows that if you give them a chance to share things together and do things together, live together, people can become almost a family.
Out of all of the stories in this world that possibly could have been told, you guys picked this particular one. It is a fantastic story.
Racial tensions have improved since 1971, but inspirational stories like Remember the Titans show us how we can continue to evolve as a society, embracing the opportunities to reach out and accept change, much like the city of Alexandria, Virginia did just 30 years ago. I'm Lynn Swan. Thanks for joining me.
Let me tell you something, you don't let anything, nothing, come between us. Greek mythology, the Titans were greater even than the gods. They ruled their universe with absolute power. Well, that football field out there tonight, that's our universe. Let's rule it like Titans.
And Remember the Titans, we always wanted Denzel. He was our first choice, he was our last choice. He's as good as they get. And this character, he was perfect for. He really wasn't sure he wanted to play another true life character because he just finished playing one in Hurricane. But when he met the real Herman Boone, he realized how he could play the part and what he could add to it.
I was impressed with Coach Boone as a man, as a former coach, and as a father when I went to visit them at their home. Where's your dad?
Denzel called my house. I said, hey, man, why don't you find somebody else to talk to? He said, no, I'm really Denzel. I said, sure you are, you know?
Water makes you weak.
Water is for washing blood off that uniform, and you don't get no blood on my uniform. Boy, you must be outside your mind.
So I listened very intently, and it sounded like Denzel. I said, okay, well, you know, you can come on over.
Well, Herman would be the first to tell you he's a dictator. He said that when he dies, he has it in his will that the last day he's on this earth, in the casket, that they play Frank Sinatra's My Way the entire day. So that's how he coaches. That's who he is. It's going to be done his way.
I'm a screamer, I'm a hugger, I'm a kick you in the butt type of guy. Whatever Vince Lombardi was, you can triple that. Straight ahead and mean as
anything.
Like you're going, meaner than a junkyard dog, huh?
That other team is out there, they're tired. Fourth quarter.
I wrote this with Denzel in mind because Herman has to be a bastard, but he's got to be a lovable bastard. So there's a very fine line. And Denzel is always likable in all his movies. And no matter how bad the character is he might be playing, people like him. So he can get away with more. He can get away with screaming at a player.
Give me the football. What is wrong with you? Why are you fumbling my football?
My blockers were better.
Your blockers ain't got nothing to do with you holding the ball.
Well, having spent time with Herman and seeing how he operates, I just knew from the time I hit the field, I had to take charge.
All right, blow your whistle.
All right, sir, I'm ready. I'm ready, I'm ready, I'm ready. Oh, I hope y'all ready. I hope y'all ready to work. I'm looking for some men out here. I'm looking for some men out here.
I said, I'm not going to let them see me scratching my head, acting like I don't know what I'm doing, even if I am scratching my head and not knowing what I'm doing, but I'll at least act like I'm in charge. And they seem to respond to that. And I enjoy it. I really enjoy it. I enjoy sort of getting the troops together and inspiring them and getting them energized.
Denzel's the consummate professional. He creates his own reality around him. So if you're in a scene with a bunch of extras, Denzel will make sure that everybody around him is providing an atmosphere that feels real and exciting.
The actors really wanted to try to become football players, you know, and there were some guys out of Auburn and Tennessee and Alabama and some ex-pros, and for me it was like taking over the Cowboys and being the coach for a couple of days and knowing you're gonna win no matter what. So it was just fun for me.
Are we ever gonna quit?
No! We want some more! We want some more! We want some more!
You know, I played in high school and college, so I know a little bit about it. And then when I had kids, I started coaching from the time my son turned 5 until the other day. Actually, he's still almost 16, but I'm still coaching a little bit. So it really wasn't a stretch for me.
Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go.
But off the football field, my wife says, and my kids say I'm a teddy bear. And when nobody's looking, I might even kiss you in the forehead. As a matter of fact, I tried to kiss a kid in the forehead one time, and he lowered his head and knocked my tooth out.
He had so many sons, you know, in a sense, out there on the football field, and he really loves them, and he may have been tough on them and crazy and all of that, but it was out of love.
I got a C+ average, Coach. I'm going to college.
Right, fantastic.
I could see right away he's a real family man, and one of his daughters just happened to be coming in from Detroit the day I was there. You know, but it was sweet. They loved their father dearly, and that's what I saw, and I could see the love in his wife's eyes, and I could see the love in his eyes for her.
Denzel becomes the character. I mean, he assumes who that person is once he creates him. He had some help on this one because it's a real individual. But, you know, Denzel worked very hard on the script and spent a lot of time, weeks on end, going through it, embellishing it, making it better, lifting things he felt the character wasn't going to do.
Let's go, let's go, let's go.
He brought so much other than just his acting, which you expect him to bring. He brought his story sense and his character sense and really helped us develop the screenplay into what it turned out to be.
That's interesting.
The acid test always is what the real person thinks after he sees the movie.
I just witnessed a scene down there that happened, and I just had flashbacks, and tears almost came to my eyes. So it's an authentic film.
Hey, 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 goodbye.
Out of all of the stories in this country or in this world that possibly could have been told, you guys picked this particular one. What did I do that deserves the greatest actor in the world to play my name, to play my life? I just happened to be in the right place at the right time, and I'm proud to have been there. It's an experience that I'll never forget, and the world won't ever let me forget.
Denzel's getting great accolades for his acting in this particular movie. That thrills me more than anything else. Greg Howard, who grew up in Alexandria, was sitting in a barber shop one day, and he was listening to the barbers and some of the patrons talk about this football team, the Titans. And Greg said, well, if they're such a great team, when can I go see them? And the barber started laughing, and he said, they played back in 1971. And Greg said, well, if you're still talking about them, it's almost 30 years later, I got to find out about this team.
We are changed. We're going to change the way we run. We're going to change the way we tackle. We're going to change the way we win.
That led me to Coach Boone and Coach Yost, and I told them Hollywood only does one of these movies a year. I don't mean one per studio, I mean one per the industry. So I said, if we are very fortunate, this might be that one.
I don't care if you're orange, red, black, white, or blue. Let's go right now. Defense this side, offense that side.
You know, and I wrote the script. And then my agent said, if they don't buy this, then we're in the wrong business. And we sent it out and it tanked. It went down in flames. Some studios pass 3 times, and they really don't like you to bring it back because it's like insulting to them. It's like, you think we didn't read it? You think we don't know what we want? Get out of here.
You better make yourself comfortable down there.
And I was trying to screw up the courage to call the coaches and just say, it's not gonna work. It's just nobody wants it. They're just not interested in an inspirational story this year. And we got a call from Jerry Bruckheimer's company. Could we take a look at it? Please take a look at it. I was praying. My sister lit candles.
I read it over a weekend and it just moved me. It was about something, it was a real event. It's a story that kids should see, that people should see. And I think it's a message of triumph, of people communicating to one another and coming out winners, and that's the kind of movies I'd like to see. And as successful as I have been, everybody passed on it. You know, it's painful to get the phone calls because you want everybody to love the things you send into them, but you know it's not a reality. They're not going to love everything. All it takes is one person to like something, and then you're off to the races.
When Jerry sent it to me, my first response when reading it was, oh my God, the emotion of it, the humor and the sort of drama of it all was very, very attractive to me. And I was overwhelmed by what it was and how important it was that Disney be involved in this project.
Peter, you know, fell in love with it also, and then he said, let's go make it. At the time, Denzel was already attached to the project. And then Boaz came in and did some brilliant work and kind of focused the screenplay and embellished the characters quite a bit and created something that he felt very comfortable directing.
It's not about bad football players learning to be good football players. It's about good football players learning how to overcome their hatred and function as a team and as a unit.
Hey, wait your turn, boy. You call me what, crap?
And he's got a very different mindset. It's not a slick Hollywood product that he puts out. He puts out something that's very real, and that's what we wanted.
I was afraid of you, Julius. I only saw what I was afraid of. And now I know I was only hating my brother.
The budget was around $27 million, and the budget norms for Hollywood are well into the high 50s, if not higher. It's not a big movie, it's a small movie. Most of it's done in a school or on a field, so it didn't have to be very expensive. The money we spent were on the actors. Unfortunately, they chipped in. They all had to take pay cuts, including myself, even though I'm not an actor. Denzel did also to get the movie made, so they had financial interests in the movie also, so that makes it special.
But you can tell whoever threw this brick through my window, they can come visit me anytime. I'll be at home.
I think everybody working on the picture was thrilled to be there because they knew they were going to be proud of the movie, whether it was going to be a commercial success or not.
What's fantastic about it is how these young kids, black and white, came together as a team and how they helped this high school to come together and the city to come together.
This is a very important film. I'm very lucky to be a part of it because it transcends football. It's about the coming together of two races that have never even had interaction before. It's about how we can all live together.
Tonight, we got Hayfield. Like all the other schools in this conference, they're all white. They don't have to worry about race. We do.
That is the unique feature about it. That although it is a sports movie, it's a feel-good movie, it's in the tradition of what Disney does great, which is tell really uplifting stories. The backdrop is 1971, race relationships in America, and the powder keg that was set off by the Civil Rights Movement.
Camp over now, huh? Back to the real world, Bertier. This is what they integrating us for?
And I think if America sees this movie, maybe now the paradigm will change after 400 years, and We won't be trying to do this false crap about let's love each other, because it's never going to happen, ever. But let's learn about each other, our differences, respect our differences, and respect each other.
Congratulations, Coach.
All right, thank you, Coach.
You did a good job.
Thank you.
I know football. What you did with those boys. You were the right man for the job, Coach.
You're Hall of Fame in my book.
The fact that it's achieved the success that it has, being the underdog that it was, that nobody wanted to make it, that thrills me. The box office is always a shock, no matter what happens. If they fail, it's a shock, and if they're big hits, it's a shock. And this one, fortunately for everybody, turned out to be a picture that captured the hearts and souls and minds of America.